I will accomplish it solely through perseverance and by openly asserting my determination to liberate myself. However, I regret and envy your fate. Pichette helps me understand maternal love. She comes to my bed every morning and plays with such sweetness. Life is becoming increasingly complicated day by day. Now I am caught up in the strong desire to have children. That is all I really need. This is an excerpt from a letter written by the esteemed Berthe Morisot to her sister Edma in 1868, offering a glimpse into their correspondence during that period of time. Today, I bring you a very particular vision of what, for me, is the most extraordinary and groundbreaking figure in all art history, Berthe Morisot, the mother who painted with the Impressionists. She is born in the year 1841 into a family of the Parisian upper bourgeoisie. She has 3 other siblings, and they are truly a very wealthy family, leading a very elitist lifestyle. From a very young age, their parents quickly realized that both Berthe and Edma possess an extraordinary talent for drawing, a talent that sets them apart from their peers. Well, at that point in time, it was completely unimaginable for young women to go to a prestigious arts academy in order to pursue a study of drawing. Therefore, the lone option that Berthe and Edma's parents had was to employ the services of a private tutor for them. In this case, her teacher was Guichard, who was a very neoclassical painter, very much in line with the Academy's taste, which prevailed in art and exhibitions at that time. And this man, who was not foolish, came to the realization that these girls had an incredibly remarkable and truly extraordinary talent. Actually, she composes a letter to the parents of Berg and Edma, expressing that considering the innate talent of their daughters, my guidance will not only transform them into ordinary salon painters, but into genuine artists. Are you aware of the potential significance of this? It will be revolutionary, and I would even say catastrophic, in a bourgeois and elitist environment like hers. Of course, what are we talking about? It is one thing for bourgeois ladies to learn to play an instrument, to paint, well, for the purpose of entertaining, doing it at home, in a domestic environment, like salon painters, and engaging in artistic pursuits that bring joy and fulfillment to their lives. So, when this man realizes the talent of the girls, he utters, "Hey, this particular one is meant for our home." Yes, but in order to establish a professional career, this would be scandalous. Well, it would be catastrophic, as he rightly states in his letter. Despite this, he provides painting lessons to the girls, encouraging them to obtain their copyist card in order to visit the Louvre and replicate the works of the renowned painters. And there comes a point in time when they require additional things, they desire more, they aspire to make progress. And they make a request to the teacher Guichard to kindly teach them the art of en plein air, of painting outdoors. Guichard says, well, no, this is beyond my capabilities. I am a neoclassical painter. I am not one of those who grab the easel and go paint a cliff. And then he makes the decision to introduce them to the great Corot. Corot is one of the most important landscape painters of the time, and also belonged to the Barbizon school. Barbizon is named like that because Barbizon is an area where this group of landscape painters used to go to paint a river, a mountain, a cliff, well, to do landscape, which had a lot of influence on the Impressionists. They were making progress, and Corot provided them with significant assistance, but always bearing in mind that we are discussing 2 young ladies who belonged to the bourgeois class. It was unthinkable for them to grab an easel and go paint a sunset on a cliff. No, she is a bourgeois lady, and therefore she is unable to engage in such activities. Well, they had to limit themselves to painting landscapes of the gardens adjacent to the residence, or in some family house, or in the nearby parks, or by reproducing the works of the great Corot in order to adhere to the constraints imposed upon them. Well, this didn't limit them. I mean, they did what they could, but they kept moving forward. To such an extent that when she showcases her artworks at the Salon, at the exhibition organized at the official Salon of the year 1864, her paintings are accepted for display. She was the first woman to exhibit at the official Salon. This was a historic milestone and a great achievement for Berthe Morisot. Come on, it was undeniably a resounding success that marked a significant breakthrough for women in the art world. Moreover, in that particular year, one of the individuals who served on the jury was none other than the highly acclaimed and renowned artist Renoir. And this will eventually have a tremendous amount of influence on the trajectory of her artistic career in the years to come. Well, before proceeding with Morisot's life, I would like to provide you with 4 insights into the movement, into the Impressionists. There is a lot of debate on whether Berthe Morisot was an Impressionist or if she only painted alongside the Impressionists. Well, when it comes to the Impressionists, talking about avant-garde in relation to Impressionism doesn't quite fit for me, because they are all very individual. I mean, they have their own characteristics, although they do share some common traits, such as plein-air painting, the ever-changing themes, because up to that point, what was exhibited in the official salons was grand art, those works of great craftsmanship with many characters, with historical, mythological themes, with declamatory attitudes, very theatrical. However, Impressionism produces artworks on a small scale depicting landscapes, everyday scenes in parks and cafes. Then, the subject matter undergoes a complete change, which is one of the reasons why these artworks were consistently rejected in the official salons. With Morisot, both the critics and the jury were significantly more lenient, because they understood that she was a woman and, well, being a woman, she creates works of a smaller scale compared to her male counterparts. The theme is what the woman observes at home, in a more domestic, more everyday setting. Well, they were considerably more benevolent towards her than towards Pissarro, Degas, Monet, Renoir, who faced severe criticism from the critics. So, besides these themes I was mentioning to you, or the landscape, another common aspect among them is the brushstroke, that very loose brushstroke, the treatment of light, which is truly important. The object is the light, the snapshot, the fleeting moment. The photographic concept, which is what photography does, has a lot of influence because they even go as far as cutting the characters, like in a photo. In other words, Degas would divide the characters in half. I mean, at the waist, because it was the concept of photography applied to painting. So, despite having these common characteristics, each individual had their own unique qualities. So that is the reason why discussing movement, yes, discussing avant-garde art. Ultimately, they were all highly unique individuals. Therefore, there are 3 significant events that defined Morisot's life. Firstly, while copying a painting by Rubens, specifically at the Louvre, she encounters the renowned Edouard Manet, widely regarded as the father of Impressionism, despite never being an Impressionist himself, but rather making substantial contributions to the movement. She never showcased her artwork at the Salon of the Rejected with the Impressionists. She utilized blacks. Well, she executed another type, had another type of theme, another type of brushstroke, but Berthe greatly admired him because she had witnessed him exhibit at the official salon. To her, he was the greatest painter she could know. Thus, they meet each other and experience a profound and unbreakable connection that encompasses. In fact, they had a significant impact on each other. She provided him with encouragement to explore nature and paint, and he reciprocated by offering her substantial assistance. Note that during that time there exists an atmosphere that is comparable to the ambience of cafes, characterized by artistic gatherings and debates of an artistic nature. Certainly Berthe Morisot was entirely prohibited in that setting, indicating that they were unable to visit cafes. She was able to host domestic gatherings on Tuesdays and Thursdays with her close friend Edouard Manet and other artists, during which they discussed various themes and debated about painting and literature, often with the presence of Mallarmé and similar influential figures. Well, in the end, she managed to be part of that world and contribute a lot, but with a difference. The Impressionists painted easel to easel, meaning the influence among them was intense. They shared ideas like this or that in a different way. However, Berthe could never do that. We have an artist who is a pioneer, a transgressor, and also has her own beautiful literature, which is why she is so different from everyone else. Her unique qualities set her apart from others in the most remarkable way. Apart from the significance of meeting Manet, By the way, she served as his model on numerous occasions. I think there are over 10 artworks in which Berthe Morisot is depicted as the subject, the main character. There were rumors of a relationship between them, a reputation like that of a femme fatale, when in reality she always posed with her mother, in other words, with a rifle. However, the gossip of that period, it is indeed true that what I was informing you about, that she possesses her own unique perspective, which is highly distinct. As an illustration, during that particular time frame, women were commonly portrayed by the impressionists and later by the post-impressionists, but with a particular vision of women drinking absinthe in cafes, in brothels, let's say, with a vision that emphasized vulgarity and coarseness. However, she has works in which she presents us with a woman in the toilette, with a man adjusting her corset, combing her hair in underwear, in a very intimate setting. It does possess a touch of eroticism, of sensuality, but with a respect, a taste that of course is given because that vision comes from the eyes of a woman, providing a unique perspective that adds depth and richness to the portrayal. We forget about the cabaret dancers and absinthe drinkers with that introspective character. It's more a sensuality of intimacy, and that is Morisot's gaze that sets her apart from all her peers. Another very important fact is that there comes a moment when her painting starts to change, right? And there's a moment when she submits her works to the salon and almost all of them are rejected. So, what does she do? Well, she makes the decision to exhibit her artwork at the first ever impressionist exhibition held at the Salon des Refusés in the year 1874. There she takes a giant step and changes significantly both in her perception of art and in her perception of her own paintings, because she has freedom, because in the Salon of the Rejected, she has freedom. In that exhibition, she presents her work, The Cradle, which is one of Morisot's most important works. I can tell you that there is still a significant influence of Manet at this time with those dark tones. Impressionists do not use black, instead they use complementary colors to create shadows, meaning they saw color even in shadows. There she still uses black. There is a technique that has advanced a lot from what she presents in the first official salon of 64. The brushstroke is already looser, quite like in a zigzag. There is an extremely well-executed glazing technique that serves as the veil of the cradle in the background. A distinct personality is starting to emerge and become more evident. The canvas with layers, emphasizing the importance of whites in Berthe Morisot's unique and special artworks, which are exclusively her own. There is still a diagonal composition that is clearly marked by the mother's gaze towards the baby, by the arm, and also reinforced by the baby's little arm that is bent. However, all of this does not appear to be as significant to me as the things that she is capable of capturing. I wanted to talk to you, I mentioned before about Bernard, like the mum who painted with the Impressionists. This is her first experience with motherhood. There was Edma, who had been her constant companion in the process of learning and had always supported her. At a certain point, she decides to marry and have kids. As a result, she gives up painting, her beloved passion. It was rather unfortunate and quite sad for her that her sister could not continue with the task at hand. However, I return to the letter that I mentioned at the beginning, and we see that in it there is a tumult of sensations in which I want to be an artist. I will achieve it through perseverance, she said, but I want to have children. So in that situation, she possesses a highly specific inner tempest that numerous women undergo before facing the transformative journey of motherhood. So here she is introducing her sister Edma to us, along with her baby. Instead of portraying a scene filled with tenderness, affection, and close contact, what she actually communicates is a mother observing the baby from a certain distance, with a sense of incomprehension. She appears to have a lost look. She seems to not understand what is happening. It appears that Edma's pregnancy and childbirth were extremely complicated for her, causing her a great deal of distress. So, those of us who are mothers and fathers understand that in motherhood, life is not solely filled with laughter and happiness. There are extremely complex moments when you feel incredibly misunderstood, you feel incredibly alone, you ask yourself a multitude of questions, you wonder if you are heading in the correct direction or if you need to make a change. Esma's look towards the baby reflects a sense of distance that can sometimes arise between a mother and her child, especially after becoming a mum and developing a deeper bond with your own baby. That type of sadness, that you have lost a significant portion of what you were and that you do not know if you are currently doing what you should be doing. It seems brutal to me that she is able to capture this. However, there is also a very nice gesture, which is that Esma in the painting picks up the veil falling from the cradle and holds it with her hand. It seems like it's creating a barrier between the viewer and the baby. It's a symbol of protection. In other words, this will be complicated, but she is my daughter and I love her madly, and I will take care of her above all. That gesture of setting a boundary is truly precious. And Berthe Morisot accomplishes this at the initial Impressionist exhibition, as I was mentioning. Well, it did not achieve much success because she did not actually sell the painting, but, well, I believe it is astonishing. That same year, in 1874, she gets married. Who is it with? In the company of none other than Eugene Manet, the younger brother of Edouard Manet. Eugene Manet was also a painter. Therefore, their marriage, which had filled her with fear that marrying might impede her artistic career, instead opened up a plethora of new possibilities. Eugene's profound admiration for her as an artist and as a woman empowered her, granting her the freedom to exhibit and paint. They would engage in passionate artistic debates during the night, and he wholeheartedly supported her in every endeavour, driven by his unwavering admiration for his wife. Their union became a source of inspiration, propelling her artistic journey forward. In this way, their marriage became a catalyst for her artistic growth and success. So, during her honeymoon, she initiates her exploration of new artistic techniques, such as the captivating medium of watercolour. Why do I dwell on this here? Because at this moment, she begins to use a finer, lighter brush with watercolour. Watercolour enables her to loosen her hand. She allows herself to be guided by the flow of water running down the paper, which causes her to loosen her hand, and as a result, her brushstroke will undergo a complete transformation. She will possess a vigour, a nervous energy, a strength that will be indicative of Berthe Morisot's unique characteristics. Then her spouse greatly empowered her, and shortly after, Julie will be born, the love of her parents' lives, who was also her muse in numerous works and also that of numerous impressionists. Julie was painted by numerous of her fellow movement companions, capturing her essence and beauty in their artwork, which continues to inspire art enthusiasts to this day. They had an incredibly special and unique relationship, a relationship characterized by deep mutual love, intense mother-daughter passion, profound admiration, genuine understanding, and the shared experience of numerous spaces and moments dedicated to art and good company. It was a truly extraordinary and remarkable relationship that later became evident in the works they created together, showcasing the depth and beauty of their connection. There is a work that I also bring you, which is the Bois de Boulogne Lake. Here, Morisot's style, as I tell you, had already completely changed. Nervous brushstrokes in all directions, no edges, no drawing. It is the colour that creates the figures and shapes. She uses complementary colours, no longer uses blacks. So here she is somewhat developing, creating her own personality. Manet was extremely intense with her and they had an incredibly strong bond, but she starts to develop her own unique personality completely and independently. The vigour of her brush strokes is brutal, zigzag strokes that do not blend, meaning she does not blend the brush strokes, there are no undertones, they are seen one by one. It is our eyes that eventually come together to form the image and shape of what we perceive. And with respect to this moment at the Bois de Boulogne Lake, and the moments I experienced with Julie, she documents in her diary about another leisurely walk along the docks with Julie asking numerous questions all the time. We were examining the sun and the planet in a globe, there in the Tuileries Gardens. As I sat, I started to reflect on my painting of the garden, observing the shadows on the sand and on the ceiling of the Louvre, attempting to find the relationship between light and shadow. Julie perceived pink hues in the light and shades of purple in the shadows. This is an extract from the diary of Berthe Morisot. I believe it's fantastic. Julie is a fully fledged impressionist. Is not the girl absolutely wonderful? Berthe indulges in this childhood imaginary of Julie's vision, filled with colours, lights and mysterious shadows. The perception of the girl truly nourishes her, and she will make use of it for her artistic painting. From that relationship so close, so lively, so spontaneous, and so natural that she has with her daughter, she became more and more personal and greater. To put it differently, Julie was genuinely an inspiration for Berthe Morisot, without a doubt. There is another piece that I want to bring you, which is also Julie, the model, who is a red-haired girl, sitting on a terrace. She does this in 1884. This piece is impressive. Impressive. The light. The light enters through the window and impacts the interior with an enormous force, an unbelievable intensity. There is a radiant reciprocity present here, as the interior of the space also emanates its own luminous light. All objects reflect light, emit light. Without exception, the entire painting is illuminated by light. The shades present in the artwork include oranges, ochres, and yellows that lean towards gold. These tones provide the work with a spectacular warmth that is truly captivating. That warmth of the tones also enhances the brilliance even more. It's not just spectacular, truly spectacular. Berthe Morisot was spectacular. She didn't cease being a mother to pursue painting, and she didn't cease painting due to her gender. She is truly inspiring. She is extraordinary. I am completely captivated by Berthe and her work, her art, and her struggle. Her story resonates with me on a deep level. Finally, I want to read you a fragment of a letter she writes in the year of her death to Julie, her dear friend and confidant. At the end of February 1895, Berthe Morisot wrote these words to my dear Julie. I love you while I am dying. I will still love you when I am dead. I beg you, do not cry. This farewell was inevitable. I would have liked to be with you until you got married. Work diligently and be virtuous as you have always been. You have never caused me a single moment of sorrow in your young life. You possess both beauty and good luck. Utilize them wisely. Do not shed tears. My love for you exceeds my ability to express it in words. It is truly heart-wrenching. I desired to conclude with a sentence dedicated to my child, my precious wife, the most important people in my life. You are absolutely inspiring to me as Julie was to the great Berthe. Morisot, I love you more than I can express.